In an earlier video, we showed solder reflow, wave, and hand soldering, three common techniques for soldering components to printed circuit boards. Today we'll look at two more, robotic and hotbar soldering. This is a 4-axis robotic soldering system. It works on the same principle as hand soldering. There's a spool of wire with flux in its core and a hot soldering iron. The robot pre-tins the soldering iron, moves it down to preheat the component pins, feeds a length of solder for the iron to melt, and then withdraws the iron and allows the solder to cool, solidify, and form an electrical and mechanical bond. The robot is fully programmable using a PC interface, an interactive teaching pendant, or both. A manufacturing engineer optimizes the program for each job, tests the board to verify the results, and stores the program in the system. Programmable parameters include the position of the soldering iron in 4 axes, X, Y, Z, and rotation, the time and temperature for preheating, the feed speed and volume of solder dispensed for each joint, the dwell time, and the iron retraction time. All of these parameters have high precision and repeatability. For example, the XYZ position of the iron is repeatable to plus or minus 1/100th of a millimeter, and the solder volume is controllable to 1/10 of a millimeter of wire. And here's a feature unique to Z-axis. Our manufacturing engineers have added sensors so the robotic system can identify each job by its fixture and automatically run the pre-verified soldering program for that job. This lets us run multiple different customer jobs simultaneously with 0 changeover time. The second soldering technique we'll look at today is hotbar reflow solder. This process is ideal for attaching flex cables to rigid printed circuit boards. For example, these LCDs. The connectors on flex cables are very close spaced. They would be practically impossible to solder one at a time, even by a robot. To prepare for hotbar reflow, the pads on the PCB have solder deposited on them at the same time the SMT components are soldered in the reflow oven. An operator applies flux to the solder, positions the flex cable, and places the fixture in the system. Controlled pressure from the bar holds all the connections firmly in place. The bar is heated by a current passing through it, causing the solder to melt and reflow, then solidify as the bar is allowed to cool. The entire cycle is fully programmable to achieve the correct thermal profile for soldering each job. Both hotbar soldering and robotic soldering are controlled, repeatable processes for selective soldering in flexible, high-mix printed circuit board manufacturing. Contact us to learn more about PCB manufacturing at Z-axis.